Kia ora, and welcome to Oho Ake Books. My name is Whareus Lysander. Last week, I had a very interesting experience that I can relate to. Many people understand this at this time, I'm sure, about my own feelings in regards to a very topical narrative that is playing itself out globally. I have been in a place for many months, almost over a year actually, well over a year actually, to be honest. It's March last year in this country, Aotearoa, New Zealand. I have been in a place of deep understanding in regards to the progression of where this narrative is heading towards. And for me, it's been quite obvious and quite clear that through my own research over the years that this was all ready to be played out. And there are many cards to be played, and this card was played for the same end game. Now, for the people that know me well enough to understand where I come from in regards to when I share content with people, especially blogs that I've written in the last year, when I share a blog with somebody, I link my blogs. I do great, deep research in my blogs as well, so that the reader has an opportunity to discern for themselves whether the information presented has any value to them. That's the one big thing I wanted to create with my blog sites, my blogs in regards to this particular topic I can't talk about. But what I learned last week is that over the last few months of this situation in this country, Aotearoa, New Zealand, the way it's been playing itself out, I wanted to have my friends and the ones that I loved most, my dear friends, people that are close to me, I wanted them to make a decision that was informed in regards to their health choices. And what I discovered about myself and about the way that I was going about this process of doing my best to enlighten people around me in regards to the information that was presenting itself to me, and what I discovered over the last year was that some people did not want to see the light shone so brightly into a particular place that they were not ready to go to or look at. So what happened for me last week, I went to a place called Makara Beach, where I often have fires for sunsets and watch the watch the sun go behind the South Island, over the Marlborough Sounds, over the Kahurangi Ranges, the Kahurangi National Park, and set. And it's a beautiful place to fire and to drop in with nature. And last weekend I took plant medicine, two kinds of plant medicine. One for the heart chakra, cacao, ceremonial cacao, and the other one was a form of psychedelic, but only a very, very small amount. But the cacao was a big cacao dose, ceremonial dose, and therefore my heart completely opened up and I sank into the space. I sank into that feeling and embodied what I felt due to the nature of people's responses to some of the information that I presented to them the end of last week. The responses that I had were, shall we say, put me into a place where I had to figure out and go deeply into my own body, my being, and my own childhood wounding to see why I was in this place of pushing this information out in the first place. Was I coming from a place of love and deep reverence for my friends? I didn't want to see them hurt in any particular way. Yes, I was. But was I also coming from a place where I was wanting to be heard or seen? Was I coming from a place where I was pushing into people's perceptions of reality and asking to see reality in this particular way in order to feel right, to go along with my feel like I'm being seen? And if I go back to my childhood, my upbringing when I was in a house with an alcoholic father who was verbally and physically abusive to me, and my neighbour who was sexually molesting me until I was 9 years old, if I look at the situation here, am I looking at a place where I was not able to say and not able to be heard that what was going on was affecting me in a way that was creating trauma for me that throughout my life I would have to deal with and become mindful of and aware of in order to heal this process? Was I pushing from a place where I wanted to be seen? Did I want to be heard? Where was I coming from? What was I doing here? What was I bringing to the world? I questioned a lot last Saturday night as the sun went down and my experience, my kowtow heart opening chakra moments took hold, and how I felt about what happened to me. And I delved deeply, and I felt a deep sadness. Why was I doing this? I questioned that. But in my sadness, what I felt was this lack of connection between people that I consider to be friends. This was the initial feeling I had. This is the truth of for me, my truth was that my friends and I were no longer resonating on the same wavelength in this sense. We had chosen very different paths, and our paths were moving parallel to each other, but beginning to fork away from each other at the same time. And I realized the people that I was close to at the time, and the way that we were seeing the world, the polarizing aspects of this perception of reality was too much for us to be able to hold a deeper level of connection and conversation and to be open on this particular topic. There is no debate here for some people. And this made me feel as though I was moving away from these connections. And the sadness and the sorrow that I felt was the realization I was moving away from particular people in my life. I was moving away from a particular location in my life. I felt my time in Wellington, here where I am now, was coming to an end. And even though I had no idea where I'm going to, where I'm going to be led to, where I'm going to be guided to, I just know in my heart that my time here now is becoming more and more precious because it's almost over. It's a powerful experience to have this. And how I relate this to my short stories and my novels and my poetry is that I spent 13 years of my life writing these books in this city. I've been living in Wellington since 2003 actually, not 2002, 2003, January 2003. I've been away from Wellington a few times, 6 or 7 times overseas, travelled abroad, but come back here, always come back. But now I feel in my entire being that my time here is up. I need to move on somewhere else. And this was only another affirmation for me to have that experience. Even though I do not know where I want to go to, I feel proud, I feel humbled and privileged to have been here, to be able to write 12 books, not 13, 12 and a quarter books here in Wellington over the last 13 years. But now I see this time as at an end, has come to an end. And even though this process is over for me, I'm starting a whole new chapter of my life, that sadness really affected me deeply in my heart. I feel fortunate to have the friends that I do have in this city, in this place, in this area, who can see the world the way that I perceive it, and we share a common ground in regards to it, seeing the particular narrative in a very different light than most people do. Having the ability to have a free and open debate in society is really, really necessary for us to move forward as a culture. In 2021 and 2020, the cancel culture and the censorship has gone hog wild. If you look closely at the censors and the cancel culture people, they're all the same people pulling all the same strings. But that, my friends, is a video for another time. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Mā te wa. I'll see you again soon.